For the next 10 or so videos, we're going to look at testing because testing is pretty fun and easy in Rust, and also have a fairly big example, and that'll probably take a lot of typing. So probably about 10 videos. Testing, we already saw a little bit, where you have, let's say you have these test functions like that. You mark it with this attribute, and then does a thing. You give it a name, and then if you run test, which is by the way, if you've installed Rust, you would be typing cargo test. Whereas here on the playground it has this test button, so it'll do it for us. And if you do that, it'll find all the functions with this attribute, and then it'll test them. And this works because it doesn't panic. That's the only thing it's checking. So you would want to put this assert eq, or assert something else. You have assert eq, and assert ne. So let's start with assert there, assert eq, assert ne, and you do that, and then this would be like 8 equals 8, so assert will check for a boolean, assert eq will check one thing against another, and assert ne will check one thing against another, and if it doesn't match, then that's good. And let's give it different names so it doesn't get confused. And you can see, so Rust does that automatically for us. So let's make some regular functions now, and then we're going to have some test functions that will make sure that they work. So this is return 2, and it returns 2, and then you have return 6, and it gives the same thing. It's an I8 and has a 6. And we don't need a main function, and then we just have it returns 2. And these test names are usually pretty descriptive, like 1 plus 2 equals 3, or something like that. And that's because you might be running like 40-50 tests at the same time, and Rust is going to say okay, or panicked. And if you can see the name, then that gives you a good idea of what has gone wrong, even if you don't, even before you look at the code. So let's see, where were we? So function, it returns 2. So here we would say, let's say assert. Let's start with assert. So 2 equals return 2. We can do that, and then mark it as a test function, and this one returns 6. Like that. Let's do assert eq this time. Let's see, 6, and return 6, like that. And then we should test these, and they will probably work. And there you go. So running 2 tests, and you can see the names there. So the fun thing about one fun thing about Rust is you can do your testing anywhere. So you can just let's say you have a function here, and you don't want to have a separate module. You can just put a test right after it if you want. It's totally up to you. So you can see this does the exact same thing. You don't need like a separate file or anything to do that. But what you'll usually see is this mod tests like that, and then you can put all your tests inside this one mod. And that's formatted kind of funny, so there we go, that looks better. And this is where you see this super keyword that we saw last time, which is getting access to these functions, because when you're inside the mod, you don't have access to anything. And if you try to test it, it's going to say, what are you trying to get me to test? It says it can't find the function. So this is pretty standard. You see this use super on the top, and then the tests. And another thing you see is this CFG test attribute. And where is that? CFG test. And that's to tell the compiler to not compile this if you're just doing running a regular main function. So you usually see this CFG test on top as well, and so that's basically how testing works. Like as super basic testing looks like that. One other thing is that if you have so we have a mod test, and let's say let's imagine that these we try to make these pub, and we would like to access them. So we're in main, and we'll say create tests, and let's say it returns 2. REST is not even going to let you do that because it's marked with a test. So it create test, it returns 2, and so it just just basically confuses it. If you try to do the same thing with return 6, then it's going to give the same sort of weird compiler message. It's trying to help you out here, but the problem, well, it's not really a problem, but the reason why I can't find it is because it's marked as a test, and when you run, it's not going to find it. I think this should do it. There we go. So if you take out the all the attributes, then it becomes just a regular mod again, and you can see now it has access to it. And whereas the moment you add this this test attribute, then it's going to effectively make it invisible when you're just running a regular binary, and so keep that in mind. There's this nice clear division between the two. So you're either running your code or you're either testing your code, and it's nicely separated there.